Hey there! Thanks so much for joining me today on this episode of DanamoBIM. We have a really cool new feature to show: custom drop-downs. Now, if you're like me and you deploy lots of scripts out for Dynamo Player, this is definitely something that will help you and your users with the interface. Now, you may be used to quite a few different types of drop-down nodes, primarily based in the Revit selection library, but today we're going to talk about the custom drop-down, which is actually under the input area of the library. So let's go ahead and get started. Here I am in Revit 2025.4, Dynamo Player open here. And you can see I've created a few sheets within this model with a suffix depicting which part of the building is actually shown. You can see here that I've also placed a key plan within the title block and some additional visibility settings for those key plans. Now you can see a number actually controls what portion of the key plan is visible. So I've created a Dynamo script, of course, to drive which key plan is visible based on the suffix of the sheet number. Now, if you're not familiar with either of these concepts, key plans, or creating this type of Dynamo script, check out down below. Today we're just talking about the custom dropdown, but I do have episodes on how both of these were created. This Dynamo script here has actually been updated to incorporate that custom dropdown. So we can actually specify E, M, or W, as well as the suffix, in terms of what key plan we would like to show on those sheets for all of the sheets that follow this rule. Now, to go back, you can see here that we used to have the number selection. So 0 would be E, 1 would be M, 2 would be W. Not quite as intuitive. So let's go ahead and jump into Dynamo and take a look at how we can replace this type of node for the custom drop-down node. Here within Dynamo, of course, I am in the Dynamo version 3.30. However, this functionality is actually available in the 2.16 release that dates back to 2023.1 Revit. So just keep that in mind, that you can actually do this in older versions than Revit 2025, which is fantastic. Now, per usual, I have my pink nodes, which indicate my inputs for the user in particular. And you can see here that under the library, we can go to Input, Basic, and there we go. We have this custom drop-down. So I can come in, clicking this icon on the left, this drop-down toggle, and start to customize what those values mean. Now, in this case, you can see I have E, M, and W as what I would like to actually display for my user. And what I actually need to feed through to the values is exactly the same. So E is 0, M is 1, W is 2. This does not change. So I'm going to go ahead and change that input. I just went ahead and hold Shift to change that input from the output of the number selection to my new custom selection. And I can go ahead and get rid of the number selection, or integer, right? It's actually an integer node. And of course, we need to right click and say is input. So now if I go ahead and save this script, we can see here that we no longer have the number toggle. However, I still do need to update that input name. And this is the great thing about the newer versions of Dynamo as well, is you can kind of keep Dynamo Player open, save, and see what actually is going to change in the background. Now I hope, like me, you actually find so much functionality for this node. So grateful to be able to update my interfaces within Dynamo Player to make them so much more intuitive. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, all of the things, and get the latest videos from DanamoBIM.